and I am here with Tino Arteaga of Mice and Men. It has been a very long time since I've had a chance to talk to this band. You have recently released your ninth studio album.
Crazy. It's seriously insane.
That's wild. Another Miracle recently came out. What inspired the songwriting this time around?
A lot actually. We spent the better part of the last year. I mean, we turned the album in the beginning of this year, but we spent the better part of last year writing a lot of these songs. And, the main influence, I guess, and inspiration behind it all is just life, and we're a band that really tries to give an honest perspective of what we're kind of going through and using music as a tool and a way for us to express ourselves and our feelings about life and what we're going through. And these albums end up kind of becoming yearbooks in our life. And the way that we get to album 9 is because we have such an amazing audience of fans all over the world that there's a demand because people are still listening. And as long as people are listening, I mean, even if they weren't, we still need this music to help us cope with everything that's going on. And I would say the biggest change that this album is kind of around is Aaron had his first child. And so baby Amelia was born about 5 months ago. And a lot of these songs kind of have to do with him finding out that he's becoming a father and having this, this massive newfound purpose in life that's not just to be writing and creating and performing music, but now to be caring for another person in his life and arguably the most important person in his life. So as a friend and a collaborator with him, it has been absolutely amazing to see and something that I'm just so proud of us and him for being able to put it all out there and be so honest about his feelings. And man, he's such a wordsmith. These lyrics on this album are just some of my most favorite that we've ever done. And the songs, and I'm not just saying that because it is the cliche for a band to say, this is our favorite stuff, but we really truly feel it. And to see him come into these new responsibilities has been absolutely incredible. And the album is out now. We just released it on Friday. And it just seems like it's connecting with our audience so well. We've been playing some of these songs. I just got back from Warped Tour in Orlando, and we played our very first one back in 2010. So to be back in 2025, rocking those stages is just absolutely incredible. And with new music to boot. So all is amazing and incredible.
So that means the first time I interviewed you guys was 15 years ago.
Yeah,
I'm going to bring up my walker in a little bit.
I know that's a bit mind numbing. Where does the time go?
How do you feel the title track, Another Miracle, the song itself, kind of showcases your sound right now?
I think our sound is a good balance of heavy and aggression. Obviously, with us being a predominantly metalcore band, it's finding those, I guess, like using heavy and aggressive music to kind of get our point across, but then also the emotional and melodic side of the band, which I think a lot of our fans know that our music is heavy, but with like massive soaring hooks, as we've seen it in some of the reviews. And I think our band is always kind of about balance and trying to find balance between those sounds. And I think with the title track, Another Miracle, it ticks all those boxes. We used an entirely new guitar tuning for it. We're tuning a little lower on this album. So a lot of people might think that that sounds heavier or beefier, but it also kind of brings a new element that is kind of exciting to the band, adding a couple more strings on the guitar. Like heavy music is in an incredible place right now where people are trying to push the boundaries and tuning lower and finding new sonic textures to involve. And I think with the title track, we've really hit the nail on the head with where the band is at now. and asking the important question in a world full of miracles, what's one more? You know what I mean? What could be one more that that can kind of be a gift to all of us? And I think it can be interpreted from anybody, not just us as musicians, but as any person. Life is hard, life is challenging. And, what's another miracle? It seems like we all kind of need some hope, and to know that there are so many miracles happening all around us at all times. What's one more that could help us out as individuals, as humans? And I think, like I said before, Aaron is just an incredible wordsmith that really can capture those feelings in a very poetic way.
And I think anytime we can be reminded of having hope or reasons to have hope, we should
Yeah,
welcome
bring
that
it.
as much as
Yeah,
possible.
please. And we're all about, putting those words into the universe, having, the law of attraction and positivity, and putting those kinds of things into the universe. And somehow the universe just continues to provide those kinds of things, whether it's from a higher power or it's something that's within ourselves. Sometimes we all need those kinds of reminders. And there's a lot of songs on this album that, I feel like touch on that and ask these questions. And hopefully, when our fans listen to it, they can put themselves in the place of us as humans, and ask those questions and kind of externalize and verbalize those feelings when they're singing along and learning the lyrics and enjoying the music. And that's what I think any artist would hope for, that when they see a piece of art, they're moved, and they can put their own interpretation on it and have it mean something to them in a completely different way than maybe it means it in our life.
That's the beauty of music. Let's talk about
Yeah.
your recent single, Flowers. How was that
Yes.
song born? Did it start with a riff, a lyric, the bridge?
Um, well, it's a lot of our songs start as instrumental tracks. We really like to capture a vibe of the sonic quality of the song, and then Aaron will write his lyrics and melodies based around what the song makes him feel. And I feel like that song really came about by having that, the balance of heavy, but also incorporating a lot of synth layers and some programming and some EDM. It was a collaborative piece with a producer friend of ours named Angelo, and him and our guitarist Phil have been longtime collaborators and friends growing up. And yeah, so it was kind of like all of our songs are big collaborations with each other and friends and other stuff like that. And I feel like this one really came off awesome. And the lyrics are again incredible. And it really does paint such a beautiful picture of, you got to water the flowers as you grow, and to watch them grow, you need to put that water on them, and you need to cultivate it. And one of the big recurring themes that I've heard Aaron talk about, and I agree with him, is something about, it's better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war. And I feel like this album is very much a warrior in a garden album, where it's we have all these skills and we have these feelings, but you kind of have to be prepared for anything. And being a little more prepared on that side and tending to your garden is more important, I guess, in this day, as we've been a band for such a long time, that now we're really getting to see the flowers grow around us. And it is a very, very powerful feeling to see that around us. So I think that song is awesome. The music video, a um, live performance collage with our friends and our family and parents. And it's Amelia's first music video, where he got to bring her up on stage, and she even got to belt out, a little cry of maybe she was nervous or something, but she gave her first vocal performance at the Aftershock Festival here in Sacramento, around friends and family. And it really just captures the emotion behind the music, and a lot of times heavy music can just seem like it's just aggressive all the time, and about just, dark topics. But also you can have heavy music and still get across these powerful messages of hope and family and love. And I think in us making so many albums, we've had a lot of practice honing our craft and writing about these kinds of things where you may not realize that it is about something a lot deeper than just flowers growing. There's a lot of metaphors, there's a lot of hyperbole in it. And I think that that is a very special song to us because it is about our families and it's about loving and sharing love with the people that are most important to us and our fans too. Those are our flowers too. We've been watering them for a very long time, and we hope that a band only gets to their ninth album because of the fans, and because our fans are out there and still showing love and still rallying behind the band, coming out to the shows, singing these songs. That is and will always be an inspiration to our songwriting process, as life is as well.
I think it's really interesting that the Devil Wears Prada just came out with an album called Flowers. Y'all have a song called
Yeah.
Flowers. Bands of very, very similar experience,
Sure.
and
Yeah.
years in the field. But when I listen to your song and I read the lyrics and I watch the video separately, there's also, and I mean this as a compliment, not an insult. There's
Of
like
course.
a sophistication that comes across,
Sure.
that
Yeah.
I hear that I didn't hear in obviously your much older albums. Because
Right.
we're not as young as we used to be.
Right. And I think that just comes from experience. And as we grow as humans and as musicians, we're constantly trying to, again, another cliche, evolve and mature and stuff like that. And I think the more we do this, the more we realize how important it is to have those feelings and to be able to express them in more poetic ways. And you're always going to draw parallels, I think, with bands that make honest music. And the Devil Wears Prada are some good friends of ours and also a bit heroes of ours. They've been in the game a lot longer than us, and we've looked up to them for a very long time. They have a very beautiful blend of heavy and emotional and meaningful lyrics. And we just actually got to see them over the weekend, and it's just always so nice to get to cross paths with them. We've been on tour, not together, but in our own circles around the way. And what we were kind of hoping for is maybe there could be a Flowers tour in 2026, where maybe we'll find a couple other bands that are drawing some parallels in their writing, and maybe we could get together with them on something like that. That'd be absolutely incredible. And all love to those guys, man. Their new album is absolutely incredible. A band that continues to elevate and raise the bar, and to just be amongst peers that are still making music, still putting our hearts and soul into it. It just feels absolutely incredible. And finding parallels in our songwriting and themes and stuff like that is just, it's no question that we've all kind of grown up together, and we've all kind of like been in and around the same circles where all of this is making sense to us, and we are all growing our flowers. Oh my God. I need to stop. I need to stop.
Speaking of songwriting, do you find songwriting more cathartic or the performance aspect?
Oh, I mean, both are just as important. I think that we've really, when we were starting, we really prided ourselves in being a live band. And I think over the course of our career, we've been a band for 16 years. I think when the shutdown happened back in 2020, we were really left to focus on only songwriting. And we have had such an amazing history of working with incredible producers, from Joey Sturgis to David Bendith, Cameron Webb, Howard Benson, and Josh Wilbur, who are all incredible coaches who have kind of taught us these tricks, and oh, there's no like tricks, but we've learned so much about recording from them that when the shutdown happened, we kind of hunkered down in our home studios and decided to take the reins and start self-producing albums ourselves. So we started that on our album Echo, and we continued that with Tether, and now we're still doing that with Another Miracle. And I think it takes some time to really get your footing on how you want to express yourself, and it's always evolving process, and we love that journey. And I think that we challenge ourselves to be a little more honest with our music these days, especially since we are the producers. So we are telling each other to do these things and to challenge each other to level up the performances and level up the songwriting, and the content of what it is that we're putting out is important to us now more than ever. And I think when you're younger, almost, I think everybody, when they're younger, they don't realize the magnitude and the scope of what it is that they're doing. But with great power comes great responsibility, as the age old adage from the comic book world comes into play. But we realize we have a responsibility to push this forward in the ways that only we really know how. And I think now we're writing the most layered and thought provoking music that I feel like we ever have. And it's because we're collaborating with each other and having these discussions first and foremost, talking, communicating, and saying, what are we trying to say? What are we wanting to put out there into the world? And now to us, it's more important than ever in the age of social media and streaming and just face value, quick music that's just consumed really quickly and spit out and like, what's the next thing? What's the next thing? We like our music and our songs to be dense for the listener that wants that. You can always take this music and this art at face value, but it's also incredibly important for us to have there be a lot of depth in the music for the fans that want to dive in lyrically, sonically, just everywhere that we can. And it's because of everything that we've learned from working with some of the greatest producers in rock and metal that we're able to do this now. And we don't take it lightly, and now more than ever, it's important for us to write honest music and to write music that resonates with us first and foremost. So then in hopes of it resonating with our audience too. And it seems like it's really doing that. And we've been having this conversation and communication with our community for such a long time that I think it's no wonder that it's still connecting, because we are still connecting on the songwriting side with each other, and then in turn taking it to the stage and seeing and feeling those connections with the audience, which is also just an incredible opportunity that these fans give us to continue to still be out here, to still come out to the shows, and to still be singing these songs, ones that we wrote 16 years ago and ones that we wrote 16 months ago. It's seriously incredible.
When it came to Warped Tour, how did you go about choosing your set list now that you have 9 albums to choose from, and you obviously want to share some of that new stuff, but then people like play Fourth and Sebring, like that's
yeah, of course. It's increasingly hard, with the deeper the discography goes, but we're also a band that wants to celebrate the music that people heard in the beginning, and the people and the music that people are hearing now. And for Warped Tour, I think we had like 35 minutes. So we had barely enough time to scratch the surface. So we like to choose the songs that we know that the fans want to hear. We also like to choose songs that are resonating with us and connecting with us. And I think there's something with the Of Mice and Men shows that we've been doing since coming back from COVID. And that was about 2.5 years ago, but the live show is important. We want people to know that when you buy a ticket to come see Of Mice and Men, that you're going to hear your favorite songs. It's, as fans of music, first and foremost, we get so discouraged when we buy tickets to go see our favorite band and they don't play the hit, or they don't play the song that resonated with them at one point in time. And we feel like it's important to include those songs because they mean so much to so many. And it's not about really what we want. It's like two for them, one for us, or three for them, one for us. And now as the discography grows and the streams grow and social media grows, we're able to kind of see what is resonating with our audience and kind of make more strategic plays with our set list than just like kind of playing a guessing game. Like, oh, are people really listening to this song? Well, we like it. Like we'll kind of throw some stuff in there. I'd save that kind of stuff for like headline shows. And when it comes to these, Warped Tour performances, we remember those early years, 2010, 2011, 2012, when we were cutting our teeth out there and what songs were kind of resonating. We even threw back, we threw an old intro that, we were really into Star Wars. We still love Star Wars and sci-fi, but we threw in our old Star Wars intro from 2012 Warped Tour. And we threw back some songs and iconic samples that we put in our music for fun, for the live aspect. But bringing that back for Warped Tour just felt like the right place to be able to play these songs again and connect back with an audience that, maybe lost touch for a while. And that's okay because life happens, people's tastes change. And well, we're no stranger to that. We're listening to new music and we remember what resonated with us back then when we were listening to songs and stuff like that. And maybe even we haven't listened to some of the music that we used to listen to. But when bands put out new music and we get to see them live and they're playing those old jams mixed in with new stuff, it's just, it creates that atmosphere that we're all here for the same reasons. We're hearing our favorites. And some people may not have even heard some of those songs before because they're only listening to the new stuff. So then this is connecting older music with these new fans that have never seen of Mice and Men before, that are at these concerts, that are seeing everyone, saying the I Go Hard in the Paint, Waka Flocka sample and being like, wait, how do you know that one? That's not on the album. And it's like, oh, well, you had to be there, but good thing you were here this time because now you get it. And I think that's just kind of like, it's fun to get to have fun again with our audience. And it's something that we never took it for granted, but when when the live shows got taken away from us, it shocked us to our core. And it felt like we lost a part of our band when we lost the live shows. And so now getting them back, we want to celebrate that connection with our audience and celebrate that connection with our music and that our audience has to our music, to be able to kind of like bring everyone together in the modern era to what and how hard of Mice and Men can bring it in 2025 and 2026 and beyond.
Speaking of live shows and the music video for Flowers, it did really much feel like a love note to your family and your friends, as well as the fans.
Absolutely.
What role do you think music videos have in 2025?
I think more than anything, having a visual accompaniment to an auditory experience is another layer that gets added to the connection of the music. And being able to showcase a live setting, like seeing fans in the comments be like, that's me right here, and screenshot it and tag us and do that. It is like you're saying, like it's a love note to our friends and family, but it's also a love note to our fans and showing them love and being able to include them. And for these fans that have never seen of Mice and Men before, to almost like get a little sneak peek of what it might be like to be in the audience at one of our shows. And hopefully that's something that they want to come and experience and be a part of, because there is something very special that hooked us from a very young age to going and attending concerts and seeing our favorite songs live, to then being able to learn how to play our instruments well enough to create music, to then share that with an audience and have them feel that. And I think in this day and age, a lot of people are stuck at their home computers and stuck looking at images on their phones and videos on their phones and not kind of getting out there and being in the community. And we hope that videos like the video for Flowers will encourage people to come out to these concerts and come out to these festivals and be a part of this community that is around like-minded individuals like themselves. And hopefully that people will see that, and like I said, that they want to come out and they want to be around that energy, because there is no, I guess there is no replacement for that. And I think that now more than ever, people need and want that. And we want everyone to know that when you are at a Mice and Men show, you're part of a family and you're part of a community. And if you don't feel that in your home, you don't feel that in your job, you can feel that at a Mice and Men concert. And you can feel that when you come to our shows, and you can feel our gratitude and our positive energy, and that we can have that connection, because it is just so important for us and so inspiring to us at the same time to be able to have this again. And it's going to feel brand new for us for quite some time now. And we're just really excited to get out on the road and play these new songs for people, play some old favorites, and just really have a grand old time at the Of Mice and Men show.
Speaking of inspiring, if you're ever having a bad day, Tino, go look in the comments section on YouTube on the Flowers video, because like the wonderful, like between like the positive comments, people are like, you know, your music saved me. I've been listening to you since way back when. Like you really do get a sense of the community that your band has built based on those comments, because let's face it, social media can be a shit show.
Yeah, of course. And it is, there are horrible, horrible things on the internet, but there's also a lot of beauty and love. And I think that that's something that I appreciate you going and checking out the comments and stuff like that. And I'm so happy to hear that. We do see a lot of those. I know a lot of people say, don't read the comments, but even the bad ones, I tend to feel bad for people that use these incredible tools for negativity. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of effort. Why would you choose to cut somebody down or cut an artist down when you could be, building them up and spreading love and positivity? And I know that our fan base and our audience really uses it for good. And that's what we just want people to take away from that, and to find positivity in stuff like that is incredibly important. And it just feels such a feeling of like gratification to know that it's connecting with these people in that way, because that was the intent behind it. And we hope that people do spend some time in there and see all the love that's in there and feel that, and in turn want to come out to a show and feel that in person, because it is just an incredibly powerful thing to be able to have that community of people rallying around artists and supporting artists, and in turn supporting each other, and it's cool. And we just love that side of it. And we want to celebrate those listeners that use their efforts to spread positivity and love in our comment section and in other bands. I tell people all the time, like, go leave a comment on your favorite band's profile. It means more to them than and like, it's something so easy that a lot of times you'll see a lot of negative comments on people, and it's just horrible, and like, when you could be using your power behind your keyboard for good, why would you waste it on negative things? But that just says more about the person leaving it than what is actually going on. And so hopefully we lead by example. We're positive people. We feel very fortunate to get to do what we do. And it's because of the positive natured fans that we get to still be here and do this.
Speaking of those fans, how are you reaching them through? This is brilliant, by the way. MICESPACE.
Oh, that's the brainchild. The name is the brainchild from Aaron. We've been throwing around this idea of creating a community outside of the live sphere and outside of the songwriting sphere, where our fans can congregate and come together and experience the deeper nature of the band, where a lot of times on social media, like you just kind of have to put out everything out there for the algorithm and stuff to go viral or whatever. Social media is a marketing tool. Okay. And MySpace is not a marketing tool. MySpace is a actual community that we go into, and we share old demos, and we share studio videos, and we share lyrics, and we even share pre-release links to music videos and songs and all kinds of stuff, exclusive merch, and just things for the fan that wants more. And growing up, we've all been a part of fan clubs for our favorite bands. So we have a little bit of experience knowing what we like to see as fans, because as I said earlier, we're fans of bands. Like, that's how we got into this. Was we were people in the audience that then decided to start to learn instruments to try and speak for ourselves. And I think the MySpace community is somewhere that any fan can go to feel and share how this music has helped them, or how this music resonates with them, and to then be built up by our community there and say, thank you for sharing, or like, hey, I got this tattoo, check it out. And a bunch of fans will be like, dude, that's so sick, who'd you get it? Drop their like, let me go check them out on Instagram, and stuff like that, where people can just kind of come together and share their positive experiences with like-minded individuals outside of a concert setting. And it's just been so much fun getting to connect with fans on there and share all this. We've been a band for 16 years, so we have quite the collection of songs that didn't make the albums that you can hear in very rough form. Some are even almost fully fleshed out, could be released songs that just wasn't really connecting with us at the time of making a certain album, or some videos that didn't end up making an actual music video, that were brainstorm ideas, or inspiration ideas, or like mood boards, or just all kinds of stuff. And it's kind of there for the fan that wants more than just marketing. And I think that it's now more important than ever, in the age of social media really growing, to have a safe space for fans of bands, and to create, and cultivate a kind of community around artists and creators that you enjoy and that you want to see a little bit more. And we're a band with a lot of depth. And I'm not just saying that to toot our own horn, but we are very thoughtful in all of our music and the way that we create things. And especially now that there is a platform like that, we just love hopping on there, saying what's up, jumping in the chat, uploading videos, uploading songs. I actually have a note here on my page, or on my desktop, these new widgets. I love them. They're post-it notes for my desktop. And I have one to upload a couple more demos and videos to MySpace. And that is going to be happening this week before I leave for tour, while I'm on my computer, so we can, have some more stuff up on there for fans. And we'll be updating it while we're on the road too. You could take a look at our rider backstage, and what fruits are we eating, and what foods are we ordering after the show. And like, just random stuff like that we just think is like so cool to like look behind the curtain of what social media is cramming down everyone's throats, and what the algorithm is cramming down everyone's throats. And it's just somewhere where people can feel a little more connected to us, because we're just humans, we're just people, and we're doing our laundry on off days on tour, and all the mundane things that people don't think, or don't even think about, for their favorite artists. We like to remind people that the place like MySpace is a place where they can come and see that for our band if they so choose. And we were just having a lot of fun with it, and we're hoping to figure out how to post some actual live streams. I know that we are, if we haven't already, we should have, there should have been an upload of our Warped Tour performance, where that's the only place it's going to be. So if you missed it and you're a super fan, you can come check out our Warped Tour performance and studio documentary, a bit of a mockumentary, rockumentary. Like we were just kind of having fun in the studio and making videos. And it's just a place where you can come and hang out with us. And we pop in the chat and update with some photos from our phones and selfies and just, just random stuff that maybe we should be posting on social media, but we don't. I don't know. It's such a weird place these days that why not just post it in a place where people really care about it and can connect with it in a way that's far deeper than just, a big social commentary echo chamber. This is not that. This is something special for the fan that wants something just a little bit more.
And again, it gives you the agency to do what you actually want to show instead of what you think you're supposed to post.
Exactly. And, a lot of those very personal things don't really connect with the algorithmic audience that it brings back. So that's why we just love it for that. And maybe we might overshare on there, but that's the fun of it, like we enjoy it. And Chorus FM has been just so amazing to help us and always elevating and helping it be a little more intuitive with the user interface and everything like that. So it has an ease of access for our fans to be able to maneuver the site easily and click around and find cool stuff. And yeah, so it's all there, and we're going to be updating it more and more as this album is out now, and we can kind of like share a lot more of this stuff with our fans on there. And it's just a great place. And I know I'm talking it up because it's our community, but like the fact that we even have something like that is just so special. And we've done fan clubs before, but this is not that. This is a community. This is something different than your stereotypical fan club. And we hope that our fans really do feel like it is different. And if they want to see something on there, they know that they can let us know, hey, we want to see this. Hey, we want to see that. And we're going to see those comments, and we're going to do our best to try and include that stuff in future updates. And thankfully, Chorus makes it very easy for us to upload stuff from the road, from our phones, and from our computers and stuff like that. And yeah, so it's just a really cool place that we're spending more and more time on. The more people that we see in there and the more that there's interaction and engagement on there, the more we're encouraged to want to get on there and have these conversations with our audience and those fans that do want a little bit more.
I think it's a great way to sort of cut through the noise of, like you said, the algorithm, going for likes, going for views, because back in our day when social media first got started, it was just about making those connections and actually talking to people. And I love that it's full circle again for you guys.
Absolutely.
You mentioned updating things while you're on tour. You're headed to the UK soon.
Yep. In 4 days.
Amazing. Now, over the 16 years of your experiences, do you prefer the outdoor music festivals or the more intimate, dark, sweaty club gigs?
Both are equally important. I think as a fan, I personally, and it's a very, these are, everyone's going to have a different answer, but I grew up not having big music festivals. Like it was the small, sweaty clubs where I would find bands on mp3.com. And I mean, yeah, that dates me, but like, or bands on MySpace or stuff like that Pure Volume and hxcmp3.com and just all these early music sharing sites. And to be able to connect with an artist in a small club is something that's so important and so ingrained of Mice and Men's DNA. We will always play shows like that. I mean, it's no wonder because you see bands like Foo Fighters doing it. You see bands like Korn doing it. You see some of the biggest bands in the world. That connection is still just so important to have because these clubs are where rock music really cut its teeth. It wasn't a pop culture phenomenon. It was something of an alternative community that wasn't in the part of the mainstream, that basically kicked down the door and said, hey, we're here. And the fan and the audience just grew and grew and grew to become a worldwide phenomenon of that. And I think, like I said, like both are important, but I love the small, sweaty clubs because that's where you get to be just face first and you feel that energy and you're right there and you're getting sweated on. And Aaron's going in the audience with the microphone and, just crawling over everybody and just getting in the mix. And, you can't really get that at the large festivals in the same way. There is still that connection. It is awesome to see tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people in the audience. But on that massive stage, there is a visual disconnect. We're 20, 30 feet away from our audience there. But when we're in the clubs, we're arm's length, we're right there. Like you can touch and feel us and get that connection right there. And I think that that's just hugely important to what the of Mice and Men experience is. And so we will always do shows like that because that's what inspired us to, be musicians. And if we can inspire other people to pick up instruments, that's cool too, or if we can just inspire them to like come out and sweat it out with us for an hour or more, and like see some new bands and feel that from that perspective, I think is just super important. So I'm really looking forward to going through this club and theater tour out there in Europe and the UK. And it's a place, we love playing all these countries and to get to visit there. I'm just a kid from Chula Vista, California, a little suburb outside of San Diego, California, a border town next to Mexico. Like going and seeing bands was something that like just made me want to be the person that I am today. And hopefully people can feel that too when they come out to these clubs where, now we get to travel the world and play our songs. And it's because of our fans that we get to do that. And they seem to really like these club shows too. So we love doing it just as much as they love coming out. So yeah, man, we're just really looking forward to it.
Well, it's the middle of November already. I can't believe I'm saying that.
Yeah.
I don't like making resolutions. So what goals do you have, either personal or musical goals that you have for 2026?
Well, we set some goals to play in new markets with this new album. And I'm excited I can't announce exactly where, but we're going to be taking this album in a more worldwide approach, hitting places that we've never played before all over the world. And thankfully, our amazing booking agent teams are working tirelessly on getting us into new places. And so we're really looking forward to announcing a ton of tour dates that you can find on our normal social media. And also, we're always updating it on ofmicetickets.com where you can get tickets there. And yeah, I mean, the resolution is to play more shows and to take our music further. And we're a band that is in the point of our career where, because we've been self-producing, we're writing in a more free flow stream of consciousness style now. So we're getting on the tour bus, and I'll bet we're going to be writing new music on the road too. We've already started it at home, and the road is when we really start to get inspired. And there's quite a bit of downtime on tour to be able to focus in on writing and do stuff like that, and take the incredible show that we had last night and funnel that into music and melody and all these things. So I'm just excited to be able to take this album to more places in 2026 and to I don't know, I'm just excited for more people to hear it. And I hope, and it already seems like this is an album that's being shared with more people than the last few that we've had. So that's just an exciting feeling for us to know that this is resonating with people and they're wanting their friends to hear it. And they're being like, yo, did you hear the new of Mice? It kind of slaps, like you gotta check it out. And it seems like that's been happening. So we're just excited for more people to hear the music, come out and experience the shows, and just be a part of something bigger, and we never even we never wanted to be in a band to create something like that. We just wanted to make songs. And so to be able to have that as a byproduct is something that's incredible, and we don't take it for granted, and we can't wait to share it with more people next year.
We'll get excited for a lot more from Of Mice and Men. Be sure to check out their new album, Another Miracle. This is Jackie, thanks to Chorus FM and In the Key of Change. Yay! Thank you, Tino.
Awesome.